reception doesn't always conk out like that. But I just wanted to talk about like this upcoming TikTok ban and living beyond the storyline. The reason people love TikTok is because we can share things going on in the world, and it's instantaneous and it's not following a script. And I don't believe that you have to follow a script to have a meaningful life. Like, I'm not even a big fan of like movies and television, really. Like, I got rid of TV back in 2010 because I would rather read a book or a news article, or if I'm going to watch something, I'll watch a YouTube video, which is more niche and more focused on like a certain topic I like. But I liked TikTok, and I did like a deep dive into like what is TikTok. And the CEO of TikTok during the congressional hearings substantiated that the TikTok servers are located in the US and Singapore, not in mainland China. And yes, ByteDance might be the parent company of TikTok. But when I looked into it, like when I looked into all of the arguments and the debates against TikTok, Facebook doesn't really care about your cybersecurity because they've also had data breaches between 2014 and 2018 to be exact. Big data breaches. And they don't care about cybersecurity, but what they do care about is losing people as consumers. Because if you're not on Facebook and you're on TikTok, you're going to be watching ads and buying products from a TikTok creator, not from Meta, which makes money from advertising on their platform. So, of course, they paid congressional representatives to lobby against TikTok and to lobby hard, which was very ironic because a lot of the politicians that were like arguing against TikTok, they have TikTok accounts with TikTok videos. And I just think a lot of it is about things changing in our society, and people don't live according to storylines. I think a lot of people, especially like of my parents' generation, this is one thing I've noticed. They wanted a scripted storyline. I think a lot of boomers and people that are slightly younger, they're having a hard time with this like shift in society where things are changing and culture is changing and people want to share instantaneous moments. And I've noticed even like with YouTube and YouTube Shorts, which I love YouTube, by the way, but even like with YouTube Shorts or YouTube Lives, there were a lot of people that didn't like the more unscripted content, okay? They didn't like that. They wanted to follow people that create a story, or they wanted people to follow their story. And one thing I've learned in life is that people do not follow scripts and storylines, okay? Life is more complex than that. And I've learned over the years, if you want to be a better friend, a better partner, or just a better human being, you accept, hi, how you doing? People for who they are. You don't have like the scripted, curated idea of who they should be. Because I've met people over the years that even though you could be friends with them, they would always act like, oh, but I need this like archetype friend. And those people that they would crush over, they weren't good friends. Those were the people that were kind of just very hyper-focused on their own lives only. They weren't generous people. They were just focused on their own personal lives or promoting themselves in ways that would benefit them. And that's why I think people don't like TikTok, because TikTok deviated from the story. Oh, we were all sharing things that were happening in our personal life, or people were making money on TikTok with the TikTok shop, and you weren't buying things from Amazon. And all of these congressional representatives that got lobby money from Zuckerberg to promote like how bad TikTok is, some of them are writing books about China. The one congressional representative that killed like the stay to keep TikTok, he's writing a book about China. Like, really? Huh. And it's funny. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So It's so silly to like hate on TikTok. Don't use TikTok if you don't like it. And I know some people are like happy that we lost antitrust legislation. Fine, whatever. But with that being said, why does Facebook and Meta get to be a monopoly? I'm just not going to be using them as much. And honestly, over the last few years, I haven't been the biggest fan of Instagram. And people are like, why? Why don't you love the gram? I like TikTok better because TikTok, and I like YouTube. I love YouTube, of course, because you can go live. I use TikTok and YouTube the same way. I love YouTube more than TikTok, but TikTok's more like just fun, entertainment. You want to learn about things going on in the world. You can. I'm not saying you can't in other places, but you have to like kind of do more research. And the thing I think that people like about TikTok is it makes what's going on in the world more accessible to everyone. Like I always kind of would learn these things just by going on different forums or Reddit or just looking up news articles myself or reading books. But the thing I like about TikTok is for the first time, many people who never thought about other cultures or other places or what's happening in the world were beginning to learn those things because people were like posting what was happening in Syria or in Iran or I don't know, in other countries. And it was a way that we all were kind of connected and it was fun. But apparently they have to get rid of TikTok. So TikTok's going bye-bye. That's what it seems anyway, unless something changes in the 11th hour. But I do find the irony of, so the clock is ticking on TikTok. I also find it so ironic and so many puns and things, you know. It's interesting. The clock is ticking on TikTok. I mean, was this planned? I don't think so. But how ironic. I guess there was a day it was going to happen because there have been some people who really hated TikTok since its inception. But at the end of the day, all the people that hate TikTok told you to use TikTok back in 2020 because they said when there was the panini, they said you should stay at home and use social media. So you did. And that's why people began to love TikTok. And I have to admit, it was fun. And its algorithm knew me better. Like, I'm not saying the YouTube algorithm knows me to some extent, but my TikTok algorithm just knows me better. And it's more just like conversational. Okay, so for me, I consider TikTok entertainment, conversational. It can be educational, but you need to vet things that you see on TikTok. Like, you need to read news articles and read books to vet the information you're seeing, okay? Like, you should still do deep dives and find out. But some people won't. There's many people in this world, they're never going to crack open a book. They're not going to go search for news articles. They're just not going to do that. And TikTok has made information more accessible. It truly has. Like, and different things going on in the world. And yeah, that's not going to be popular because, it deviates from the storyline that some people want us to follow. And some of us have never been big. Like, I used to read fiction, but I'm kind of over fiction because I like real life. And I'll read non-fiction history books if I want to read a book. I don't want to read fiction. So why would I want to watch movies all the time? I don't love movies that much. I really don't. Honestly, I like reality and I love learning about the world. And I just think that's a way to interact with the world a little bit better than just always focusing on the storyline. Live beyond the story, I say. That's what I think anyway.